That is the reason why I tried all this time. Was only that. But you guys don't want to give it to me. You give me this medication and I am fine. And then I can deal with my shit. And he said to me, I can prescribe it.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, when we engage with people in pain, all kinds of pain, we are not very good at it. In fact, most of us are quite bad at it, and that is a problem. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations, with survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are an attempt survivor or ideator or somebody who thinks about it and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. There are a few ways that you can help us out. Leaving a rating or review on Apple helps. Commenting on our Spotify poll helps. And if you have the opportunity, the means, the interest to make a tax-deductible donation, that helps a lot too. Now, we've changed fiscal sponsors. So you might see givebutter.com/suicide noted in some spaces. I don't know where that link's going to take you in the near future, but moving forward, you should see a link in several places, starting with donorbox.com/blah, blah, 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 blah. That is the new place to contribute if you'd like. Either way, however you're involved, even if it's just listening once in a while, I appreciate it. Finally, we're talking about suicide here on this podcast. My guests and I do not hold back. Please take that into account before you listen or as you listen, but I do hope you listen, because there is so much to learn. Today I am talking with Martiens. Martiens lives in Norway, and he is a suicide attempt survivor. Martiens, where are you from? Where are you living? Where are you right now?
I'm a South African, but I'm a Norwegian citizen now. We live in the lower half, like right in the middle almost.
Norway. Martiens in Norway, married.
Yeah.
How long have the two of you been there?
We've been here now going for 10 years.
You wrote to me recently. First of all, you're a poet, so always love the poets. There was some poetry. And in the prior original email, one of the things that seemed to be at the center of your life that was causing problems is that you have narcolepsy.
Yes, narcolepsy with cataplexy. Narcoleptics are the world's most overslept, exhausted people. Yeah, because our brain wants to keep us awake at night, and it wants us to sleep in the day. But it's not really sleep, you see. One of the symptoms is called sleep attacks, but it's not really sleep.
Surprisingly, you're going to know very quickly. I don't know much about this, but here's what I know. There's a reason humans sleep, or we wouldn't sleep.
Yeah, there's a reason.
So whatever the multiple, I assume it is, reasons we sleep, and I have some of my own sleep stuff, so I can speak a little bit to it. If it's not good enough, it causes problems. Some of them is how we feel, but probably some of them are bigger in terms of our health. I'm imagining this has fucked your life up pretty bad.
Yeah, no, it's stolen so much time. When you get these sleep attacks, which I would get between 4 and 5 in a day, It is also before that and after that. You get what they call brain fog, where you just cannot focus or concentrate. It just takes away.
When did it start?
The first I can remember is 1984.
Whoa.
But I had it diagnosed here in Norway in 2011. Before that, we had the suspicion, that I'm probably got this problem. But it was only officially diagnosed in, I'm talking nonsense, it's 2015.
I mean, this is going to sound like a weird question, and I don't mean to be insulting at all, but I just don't know how it works. Is it possible that while we're talking, you go to sleep?
I don't think it will happen now, because there's something that I use in the morning, which is a big part of why all this happened. And I'm also, when I'm excited, when I'm a sculptor as well. So when I'm going to make a sculpture, I've got the idea, then I get this, adrenaline and I will work for hours. But when I stop, then I crash. Then everything just comes back.
Because you said you think it first started happening in about 1984, so it was like decades until you were diagnosed. I would think if so many years ago something so difficult or problematic happened, like I'd be at the doctor every day.
I at first thought this happens to everybody. The first time I went, I was in the South African police force, which is some irony in that.
Okay.
And then I went to go and study forestry management. I failed a year. Yeah, sure, we were drinking too much and having too much fun, but I just couldn't stay awake, even while writing exams, trying to study. Then I went to the library. Those were the days, before the internet. And I was sitting there reading this book. It's a thick book because you couldn't take that book out. It's an academic book. And then the librarian came to me and said, "Listen, are you going to, use this book for a long time? Because there's somebody that wants to use it." And this person followed the librarian and was standing kind of behind them. And this was a doctor, Sir John Foster, but he was a cardiologist. And he kind of, after a while, he said to me, "I think you maybe have this." But then you've got the connotation to it. It affects your ability to drive. It affects your ability to own a firearm. So I kind of like, I'm not so sure if I want to go ahead and go and see somebody and just try to fight through it. Sorry, I was diagnosed 2017. Now I remember, because
Okay.
2016 I got sepsis in my lower back, and then my symptoms got worse, especially the cataplexy part.
Okay.
Got worse. And then I thought, okay, well, let's get this diagnosed, figure it out, and see what it really is, because maybe there's something we can do about it.
So this podcast is not the narcolepsy podcast. It's called Suicide Noted. So if you were just dealing with narcolepsy and there was no connection to suicide, you wouldn't have found it, and we wouldn't be talking. How old are you?
I'm 58.
Now, before all this stuff, had you ever thought about suicide?
Yes, I did. I was in Israel in 1999. And then when I went back to South Africa, I was finished by then studying forestry. So I was doing some work in forestry. And I was in a previous marriage. The thing with this is basically the sleep deprivation. This is the main problem. But because you're exhausted, small things, little things, and big things. My father's death, well, when I was 3.5 years old, that was always something which was very heavy on me. I had the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. His name was Trumpy, one of my best friends ever. And I was working in the forest, and we were clearing fire breaks. I used to carry a 9mm because I bought a gun after I left the police force in South Africa. And I sat there in that fire break. I just decided, stuff it. My dog was sitting on my left side, and I took out my 9mm, and I wanted to shoot him first. I took a pine cone, and I wanted to throw to distract him so he doesn't look at me. But I had to now move my firearm from my right hand to my left. And as I threw it, he looked, and I tried, move my gun back to my right hand to shoot him. But by that time, he was looking at me, and then I threw another cone, and he didn't look away. He just kept on looking at me. And then my mind cleared a bit, and I thought, if I do this, not only will they find our bodies, but maybe somebody will find me first, and they'll take the firearm, use it for something else. Of course, I didn't want that to happen. Yeah, but I've told this to people before, because this is about this dog that knew. He knew something.
Well, what was the dog's name?
His name is Trumpy.
So without Tompy, maybe you're dead.
Maybe.
And you are, but this was 1999 or afterwards?
This was just early 2000, yeah. Early
So you would have been in your 30s. It's a really hard question, but why did you want to kill yourself at that time?
It was I was struggling with this thing that I didn't know what it was.
I'm sure there have been times in your life when you were struggling with the effects of narcolepsy where you weren't the nicest person to be around, I'm guessing.
I'm not. No, I'm absolutely not.
Right.
It affects your mood. Yeah, you change if you're tired.
And people will be thinking perhaps, oh, I get it. Like I know what it's like to be a little sleepy, and it's like Apple. No, it's much. I don't think you're talking about being a little sleepy.
Yeah, but I should have started with before we started talking, because you've got the disclaimer that your podcast is for educational purposes.
Well, it is not for people to. I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm here to learn.
Yeah, well, awareness.
Sure.
I should have said now that this is for entertainment.
Okay, that's part of it too.
Because my wife is a bit worried that if somebody sees this, because I've been to the US now earlier this year, first time ever,
Oh yeah,
and I want to go back. Nowadays, if you apply for a visa, they want to check all your social media,
that's right.
and for some strange reason, this might be a negative.
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. It's absurd, but I don't make the laws or the
Yeah,
rules.
I'm not that worried. That is the way the world works. Then that's the way the world works. Yeah.
Hey, I've always been thinking at some point someone's gonna come in and say, Sean, what you're doing is unsafe. We're gonna shut it down, but nobody's ever done that yet. I think it's very safe. I think it's very ethical. I think it's very important, obviously. But people in the suicide prevention community have some different thoughts about the way to approach this subject. So I think they complement each other, but
Yeah.
whatever. Before that attempt in your early 30s with the gun and your dog, I know that there had been years of dealing with narcolepsy. I know there was a point when you were younger where you probably didn't have it or it was dormant growing up. I don't need your whole childhood and teenage and young adult years, but summarize for me. I know you're in South Africa. You kind of have a normal-ish life.
Yeah, normal for being in South Africa, kind of.
Yeah.
It gradually increased because these are all set of symptoms. So it gradually, you know, started to increase, and more symptoms will I can't say added on, but it just developed.
When I talk to people on this podcast, at least more than half. My dad was beating the shit out of me. My mother was an alcoholic. I was getting bullied all the time. I have schizophrenia. The things that people immediately point to, but you didn't have that stuff. So that's what I mean by normal-ish. It's a weird word, but it's the best.
Yeah, no psychological, or no nothing.
It really is the narcolepsy that is the sort of demon here.
Yes, it's like that's the net. It's catching all the other stuff, and the other stuff starting to gather in it. It just makes the net heavy.
How many times have you tried to end your life or almost tried to end your life in total?
3 times, excluding the last time.
Why are we excluding the last time?
Okay, 4 times then.
All right. So the first one you just talked about with your dog, how much time goes by before the second attempt?
It's about 2010. I've since got divorced, and I've met my new wife, and then I've also had a son, my own son. My ex-wife left to see me and my son, and then I met my present wife, and she's got a son. So we were a family with 2 boys. We moved to Cornwall in England from South Africa.
Okay.
At times I like to drink something. My sons has never seen me drunk, but I like to drink something, and then you get that what they call Dutch courage.
Okay.
A little bit loose. There's the boundaries kind of fade. And the one night it was raining. Of course, this narcolepsy has taken over such a huge part of my married life. My wife has done so much research. She's really trying to figure stuff out. And this one night, I just took off. I took my shoes off and I started just jogging down the road into the main road. Now, this is Cornwall. The main road is not really big. Yeah, it's small, but you've got these stone walls next to the road. And I was just running, and I was hoping a vehicle would just come around a corner because there's not a lot of time, and it's dark and it's raining. And I ran right around. If you look at where Port Isaac is, I ran right around. There's a place called Three Lights. My wife called a friend of mine who lives there. He only afterwards told me, he said he went out to try and find me. And as he went out to get in his car, he saw me coming down the road. He tried to stop me, and he said I just ran straight past him. And I said I couldn't even remember you were there. So in the end, I just did a really good marathon.
You just had a really good run in the rain.
Glad nobody came around the corner because that would have fucked that person's life up.
Why are you glad? It sounded like you wanted to die.
Yeah, but if you think afterwards, you think like, damn, if somebody came around the corner and swerved out, rolled their car, killed their kid, you kind of think, oh, that was, yeah, of course, I wanted to end it. But it's that thing about the selfish. You have to look after yourself first
Yeah.
to be able to look after others. Then sometimes you just get to this point where you feel like I've got to just remove myself. And that way I'll be looking after the others because they'll be better off.
That's a different way to look at it. That's fair, right? And so, I heard in both of the times that you came close, you were thinking about other people, right? So the first one, you were thinking about someone who might find a gun and not use it
In
for,
retrospect,
in retrospect, and then this one, you're thinking about who might get hurt in the car.
so my dog stopped me. No car came, but then afterwards I think, oh hell, that could have been.
Well, when you're in it, you're in a different state of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you completely and I'll go back to that. The third time I joined the Coast Guard, a cliff rescue team, and I was a cliff man. We would go down the cliffs if people get trapped by the sea because you've got a huge height difference and distance between low and high water. So low tide, people think, oh, look at this lovely beach, and they go around. The access points to the beach is very narrow, so they go around, and you've got these high cliffs, and they get trapped. Then we'll abseil down, bring them up, or when a dog falls off, or when people commit suicide. So then we go and fetch them. And I was one of the two cliffmen.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, I walked out. I just walked out to the cliff, and I stood there, and I thought, well, this would be easy. It's a nice view down as well. As I stood there, the guys that we have all volunteers. Sure, they pay us when we go out. But these guys, most of them, the way they deal with when somebody committed suicide, we bring the body up, is that they kind of afterwards joke. And they're a bunch of Cornish dicks. And I stood there and I thought, I can just hear all these jokes, and it will spread quickly through the village, and my sons will hear about it. They were like, yo, did you see his head was up his ass, whatever, Then I thought, no.
Let's be clear. Three almost attempts, and 3 times you're thinking about other human beings who might find you, who might find the weapon, who might be affected. And you're saying that's the main thing that seems to have stopped you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, in between these attempts, as you're dealing with the narcolepsy, it's probably getting worse. It's certainly not getting better. Years go by. Are you in that time? There's this word ideating, where you're thinking about it.
No, all the time. I've actually looked that word up.
It's funny when I'm typing on on a Google document, it'll underline it as it's misspelled, but it's not. It's just a word it doesn't recognize, which is interesting to me. And it actually is very telling about what we do and don't know about suicide and the suicidal mind. When you say you're thinking about it all the time, is it daily, weekly, by the minute?
Well, I wouldn't say a day. There's a day that doesn't go past. There's another part to this as well. When we get us narcoleptics, when we get this sleep attack, we try and manage it by having this what we call a forced nap, which I will sometimes have to do 3, 4, 5 times a day. Mm-hmm. And then in that nap, which is not sleeping, we get what is called hypnagogic hallucinations, and you get muscle paralysis. So you cannot move, but you're partly awake. You can actually see some things around you, but then there's a hallucination. And mine is from my police career is very violent hallucinations where I would be stabbed, I would be shot, and then I'm trying to fight this. I'm trying to wake up, to move my body, and many times, because I've got also developed this lucid dreaming ability where you can actually influence your dream. But at times, I would just tell them, do it, just go for it, do it. I'll be happy. There's that element. It would be murder if it happens, but
who would be the murderer?
Yeah, I mean, it won't happen because it's hallucination. Well, I think it's hallucinations, but it's so real.
So you're saying during these forced naps, sometimes you have control over your dreams, and you would give some direction to your mind to kill you during the dream.
Yeah, with this entities it's people, sometimes humans. I can hear them walk. I can hear cars. I can feel them stabbing me. I've never been shot, but I feel huge pain. And instead of trying and fight this, I just do it. Just get it over with.
I don't want to be too cheeky here, but if I had control over my dreams, I would be having some different kinds of dreams, Mark.
Yeah, I try, believe me.
That's a different kind of podcast, but I don't mean to make light of your situation, but that is powerful stuff right there. So the question is then, what stops you? You've done it a total of 4 times. I've heard about 3 of them. There was one that was more recent, and we'll get to that. But every day what stops you from trying if you're thinking about it so often?
Okay. When I was in the police, I became a detective. I had 2 main jobs. The one was we had a mental asylum in Pretoria. Now, when somebody committed a crime and the court wants to investigate if this person was out of their mind at that point, they put them in this special facility. If they escape there, They used to call them Article 28, which is the link in the law. And when they escaped it, that was one of my main things, was to go and find them. And the strange thing was, because of the legal aspect of it, they were state property. If they assault me, I cannot lay charges against them, and the other way around. But of course, I would have got into trouble. I would have had to explain why this person is full of bruises. And then the second thing I had to do, I was one of two unmarried detectives. I had to do suicides, unnatural death investigations. So this is the irony in all this. I've seen it all, and of course, I deal with the people then around, and I see the body. Guy puts a shotgun in his mouth. It's not a pretty sight. That is one thing. I'm a little bit concerned on how would they find my body. Sometimes it's a mess. Sometimes it would be a shock. I would think, okay, well, maybe I call the cops and then do it, and then make sure they would be the first ones on the scene before my wife or my sons comes home.
Well, I mean,
But
some people have this, they do the thing called, I don't know what it's called actually, like death by cop, where they don't
Mm.
kill themselves, but they put themselves in a position to be shot by a cop.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Seen
Uh,
some videos.
The reason, some of the stuff you're bringing up is the exact reason why at some point a few years ago, I started asking this question called the pink and purple pill question.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to really gauge what is stopping you. So I'll ask you that in a little bit. When was the last one? You said there was one more.
Saturday the 28th, last month.
Whoa, hold up. Saturday, the 28th of March of 2026?
Yeah.
Was that before or after you found this podcast?
No, I found the podcast after.
Okay, what happened on that Saturday?
On our property at the back. We live in the forest in the mountains. We've got a place there where we make a fire, have some drinks.
Yeah.
And me and my wife, we did have an argument. It's about kind of the same thing, We came back home. I was just tired of the argument is about this narcolepsy,
Is it? Okay.
And I just said to her, I'm done. I'm done with this. And she was kind of like, what are you talking about? And I was busy in the house, and I went upstairs. I know there was more than 15 Zoplicon. I don't know what the grams is. I took them all. The man came down, swallowed them. And I know this is a question you want to ask as well. As I swallowed them, I took my phone and I sent my sons each a message, just saying to them, "I love you. I'm sorry that I disappointed you." And then she said, what did you just do?" And I said to her, "It doesn't matter. I'm going. I want to sleep. I want to sleep, and just want to keep on sleeping. I don't care. I want to go now. This is it." And I was busy in the kitchen, and then she saw me. I kind of collapsed by our oven stove, and I had to grab the handle and fell, and the glass broke, and then I kind of stumbled this way, and I fell on the floor. I put her through so much, but she's an incredibly strong woman, and she called the ambulance. They took me to hospital. I had a hell of a good sleep. But I realized that when I woke up, I had all the the things that stick on you, all that on. But when I woke up, now the hospital is just about 2.5, 3 hours from where we live, and my wife was not there. I got up, and as I woke up, there was a nurse and a man standing there. He had a black beard, darker skin. He's from Arabia, from United Arab. And I just told him, I said to him, "Listen, I'm so sick and tired of you people. I've been asking for help. I put my clothes back on. I didn't even took those things off. And as I walked out towards the door, the nurse came running up behind me, and she said, please, just talk to this one doctor. Just, please, just because at that point, I'm far away from the home, and I'm in a different place. I just want to walk out and finish it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think what I'm going to do, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk out here, find a way to finish this. But she called me back, and I don't want to be now rude towards her so much. I was a bit loud, and I went back, and then I met this doctor, and I can say his name. His surname is Dollar. And he said to me, "Listen, okay, they told me, I kind of have to the idea what your problem is here." And I said to him, "Yes." I said to him, "There's medication that I can use, which makes my day 95% effective. I'm awake, I can focus, but you guys don't want to give it to me.
Mm.
I smuggled it into South Africa, from South Africa into Norway. I did it 3 times. My sister, who's a medical doctor in South Africa, she tried to post it to me, but the customs confiscated it, which I could have landed in trouble for that, but they just said they'd be taking and destroying it. And I said, I've asked you guys for this. I've asked my neurologist for this. We've got studies that this works. Yes, and I'll name him as well because he's an amazing man, Professor Rolf Fronzek from Netherlands. He did the studies on this, and I'm proof that it works. But you guys don't want to give it to me. I'm the reason. That is the reason why I tried all these times. Was only that. You give me this medication, and I am fine. And then I can deal with my shit, but without it. And he said to me, I can prescribe it.
Boy, hang on. What was the problem prior to that? Why wouldn't they give it to you?
It's an opioid. It's called, you get a tramadol. They call it also Tramazac, but it's an opioid.
So what? It makes your life better.
I literally, I had such a fight with my neurologist now that she took me off as a patient at the hospital where I'm supposed to get other medication called Mediadol. This is linked, so I have to have the Mediadol to be able to drive. But that stuff just stuffs up my stomach. I vomit this foam out. But I take it. I'm telling them this stuff is. I think the side effects is worse.
Yeah.
Give me this other pill. I've been using it. Now I'm incriminating myself because I have smuggled it in. I did a postgraduate studies in Norwegian folk art, and in the middle of the year I ran out, but I managed to continue. I was doing blacksmithing, looking at the old methods the Vikings used to make their swords and stuff.
Oh.
So that was enough to keep me going. I was supposed to go and see my GP today, but I canceled the meeting. I don't want to talk to him. Because if I see him, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say certain things to him. Because I have been asking. I might jump ahead. You're going to ask me you can still ask me the question about a name for a memoir.
No, don't. Oh, you got a memoir name. Let's go, Martiens.
No, I've got more than one. But I have to mention this. This a painter, artist, and Norway. He's passed away now. Edward Munch. He did that painting Scream.
Yes.
That now I was screaming. So I still like I'm talking to you now. We are South Africa. We use our hands and stuff, and we get a little bit loud.
Okay.
But I was asking. I said, please. I asked my neurologist. Just take these papers of this Professor Rolf Fronzek to the university and ask them if I'm willing. I'll do a trial. Oh no, I'm not involved with the university anymore. Maybe you should move to the Netherlands. Fucking bitch.
They literally begging for your life.
I was begging.
But let's go back. You said that you found the doctor in the hospital who would prescribe it to you.
Yeah, he works with addictions.
So now you have it.
I'm on a 6-month trial now. That's why I'm smoking tobacco, and I've got a zero alcohol.
In order to take this drug, you had to quit drinking and smoking weed.
Now we're gonna do a 6-month trial so that he can motivate why I need it. So I've got to go and do a urine test every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like a drug addict.
Right. Well, it's a heavy drug. It's a strong drug. It's also probably an addictive drug, but right now, if it keeps you alive, it makes you feel okay. Well, hell.
This is the funny thing. This is what that Professor Rolf Fronzek proved in his studies, that we as narcoleptics, we cannot get addicted.
Oh,
it's
shit.
all got to do with your hypocretin neurotransmitter levels, which is the email from the brain, minus 27%. If you go over 100, it starts to create a little bit of chaos, which goes to the organs. That was what his study was about. So if I take it, my levels go up to 98%. I'm fine. I'm like, what you could say, a normal person then.
Wow. All right. So you're in the middle of the test. So that's somewhat encouraging, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. For 6 years, I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. One night, I just came home. I actually had a couple of drinks. I was still studying. I said to my ex-wife then, I'm done. I've got to figure something out. Right. And I went on this 6 years to find Jesus. Then another 2 years, and then I kind of started drinking beer again. I only started smoking again 2015 in Norway.
All right. So you've had times in your life where you've tried to stop drinking. You've had times in your life where you're looking for God. I mean, this is all just in an effort to try to feel better and be okay.
Yeah, and try to figure shit out. You know,
Now, but what's
what was
interesting is
wrong?
you're taking this medication now that's helping, but yet a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, you tried to end your life.
They didn't want to give it to me, you know, and I just felt, I still had some left because
Right,
when I
that's
went
what I'm saying. You're on the drug, but yet you tried to kill yourself.
America now, I still had Otramazak, which is a generic.
Uh-huh.
And while I was there, my nephew got me some tramadol, and I was using it while I was there. It was fine. Was there for 4 weeks, but when I came back, I only had 10 left. And when on the flight, I decided I'm not going to take anything because I just want to sleep anyway and get this flight over. And then I sat with these 10 pills. Now I have to think because I have to go through summer. You know, I have to work. I have to. I make jewelry and stuff and sell it down. So I have to be awake when I'm selling stuff. You know, I can't just sleep when people come in.
I have so many potential memoir titles for you, and you wouldn't like any of them because they're all a little shitty and mean, like The Sleepy Vendor
Sleepy with
or The Tired Viking, Cliffman. I want to hear yours in a moment. Clear something up for me as you're trying to figure out how you're going to make use of these 10 pills, and those are the last 10 pills. I
Yeah.
was under the impression that right now you are on the medication as part of this 6-month study.
Now I am. But when I came back at the end of February, I had 10 pulls left. That's it. I can get more if I go to South Africa, which hopefully in September I'm going. That's the whole summer. No, we have to go back. Now, I come back from America. I only have 10 left of the pulls I smuggled in. By the end of March, that's it. You know, there's no point. 10 pulls. Come on, what am I going to do with this 10 day? And that's when I decided to end it. Just take these enough sleeping tablets and just go sleep and keep on sleeping. By luck, have to be awake on the other side, probably. And then when I landed up in hospital, that next morning, when I woke up, there was a doctor that can prescribe it. Now I have it.
Plus the 10 pills.
Yeah, I still have, yeah, I've got, 8 of them left.
So, okay. So you're probably going to be okay for the next 5.5 months.
Yeah, no, he's going to prescribe it for me for the 6 months, and then he can give a motivational letter that I can have it permanently. I had to almost kill myself to get it.
That doesn't surprise me. It's a very fucked up world we live in. Did you find God?
That's a yes and a no.
Do you believe?
Yeah, no, I believe. I believe in the Torah. I'm more Karaite. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Jew.
I don't know what that means.
It's a really old group of people. The word is a root word for raw leather.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Torah was written on leather, we're trying to go back to just before the first letter was written. You know,
Okay.
no church, no
Yeah.
rabbis, and everybody for themselves. My personal opinion, you can believe whatever you want. You know, just don't try and shove it down somebody's throat.
God, whatever you're calling your God, what does your God believe in people who kill themselves?
Well, you know, I think Einstein has got the entity that created everything right. E equals MC square. The energy. It's also based on the dream I had with my father, who passed away when I was 3.5. I went in this dream to the house where I was born, the house he built with his own hands. After I had the dream, about 3 months later, I went there to that town where I was born, to that house, and I knocked on the door because I couldn't remember much. I had a motorbike into a wall in 1983, which is, I think, we think part of why the narcolepsy manifested.
Okay.
But it was there already. But I went to the house, I knocked on the door, a little round older man opened the door. I put my hand out, as we South Africans do, shake your hand, and I told him my name. And my father was a member of a family who were all national sports people. There were 5 children. And my father was quite well known, especially in that town. And as I put out my name, this man started crying, hugged me, told me my father was his hero. He tried 4 times to buy this house. But in the dream, I was standing in front of a long passageway, and at the end there was 3 doors, and my father was standing there, and I ran down, and I was a little bit taller than my father, and he did my collar, but I could feel his hands. He picked my collar, and I could feel his breath. But when I went to that house in real time, this man was so excited to see me. He asked, "Do you want to eat lunch?" I said, "Sure." And we were walking through the house. We got in the kitchen, and I said to him, "Where's the bedrooms?" And he said, "Right behind you." When I turned around, it was that same passageway with that same 3 doors. So I believe we don't die. Our bodies disintegrate, but with energy. And he's living there. He's living there with us, with all of us. That was maybe his happiest moment, and that's where you'll be.
When was that experience when you visited your old home?
2004.
So because we're moving around your timeline a little bit, but I think I have a pretty good sense of things. So you brought up the memoir title. Is this the time to tell me your ideas?
Well, I've actually started writing about my narcolepsy. I write, I think I wrote about 40,000 words. And the name of that, the narcolepsy autobiography, but the name is Not a Short Story.
So you get it. So it's a little meta, as we would say.
Yeah. Well,
All right. But I have to tell you something. Just because you say it's not a short story doesn't give you license to write something that's so long that we can't get through it.
Yeah.
If it's for the reader, you got to keep us in mind as well, please. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what are the other ideas as you drink your non-alcoholic?
I was just thinking I'm a non-alcoholic beer. I was just thinking, as I write WTF,
Yep.
what the fuck, dying for good drugs.
All right. I like it. Not bad. Not bad. What else? Any other ideas?
No, not really. But I've written so many poems. My sculptures that I make, it's all really dark.
So your art tends to lean towards the quote unquote dark side. What is the narcolepsy you have said, or you'd said earlier? I'm paraphrasing. Kind of stole some of your life. The time that it's stolen. What is the stuff that you are most angry or upset about, or wish it hadn't stolen? Is it time with people? Is it time with making art? Is it time with whatever?
It's all of those. I'm awake a lot at night. I get really short. I turn around about 22 times in an hour, and I
Yeah.
wake up every time doing it.
Do you sleep in the same bed as your partner?
Yeah. We most of the time, yeah, we want to. I want to know. Sometimes I want to know where she is because I get hallucinations that she's gone or something's happened to her. I had dreams my boys were kidnapped out of the house, and I'll go to their room, and after that, I'll often go to their room and lie on the floor, next to the beds and sleep there.
So when it comes time to when it's dark out, most people are getting ready for bed. Some people have a ritual or some sort of they prepare. That must be like a weird time for you because you know what
Uh,
you're going to be dealing with this shit all night.
I don't. I want to say I'm an anxious person because I'm a South African alpha male. You know, I'm not scared of anything, but
Sure.
going to bed at night, oh God, I'll try and stay awake as late as I can. And the strange thing is, there's a Professor Matthew Walker, he wrote a book of Promise to Sleep. And he did a study and he said the best time for narcoleptics to sleep is from 2 to 5
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. Then we get the best quality sleep, not quantity, but quality. I'm kind of already doing it.
A couple of weeks ago, what tempted you to look for something with suicide in the name?
Well, for that, but I said to you, Monk's painting Scream. I'm just trying to find somebody to talk to. I don't know you from anywhere, and I thought social media. No, yes, narcolepsy groups on there, and that's no, I can't do it. And all these people with their little comments, I don't get offended by stuff. I often troll people a little bit, just to have some fun. But that's not the place to go. And actually, I mean, you can't give me advice as such, but you can, of course, say things, and I'll go like, "Yeah, shit, that makes sense." But it's just, I've thought, wow, a podcast. I can actually fucking talk to somebody, and you've done. I've listened now. I tried to listen to as many as I could because I had my doubts a little bit after I sent you an email. It was kind of a cry, like, geez, I just need something. And then I listened to you talking to people, and I thought, man, no, I would like to talk to this guy too. I want a chance as well.
Well, I appreciate that I made the cut and that we're here talking. Something I'm just realizing. I think you're the first person I've spoken to here who has narcolepsy.
Oh, so what's your first, huh?
I mean, I don't know if that's something you want, but it's just the truth.
Yeah, high five.
High five. I'm sure it's impossible to hide. People who are close to you know that you have narcolepsy.
Yeah, my family, of course, my wife, my sons. The interesting thing was this past Friday. My youngest son came down. He lives about 2.5 hours south. He comes up regularly, and I sat him down. I've got a policy with my boys. Be honest. If you are in trouble, you have to be honest with me. Because if you lie to me, I can't help you. The oldest one, he got into a little bit of trouble, and he phoned me immediately. He told me everything, like straight up. I said, okay, now we can work on this. The youngest came and I sat him down and I said, listen, I have to tell you something. I don't really have to tell you this. You might never know. And I know if I do it, I don't know what the effect would be. But after he cried. So he's 21, he's got a beard. He's into this Viking reenactment stuff.
Okay.
He cried, and he said to me that he's seen me all these years struggling with this. But I didn't know. I didn't realize they noticed, But of course, the oldest one, I had him also on the weekend. Same thing. He said to me, I've seen you struggle. I know. And I tell you, but the youngest one, you're going to ask me if I would do it again. Between the hospital and before I spoke to my youngest son, I was still there, you know. But after I spoke to him, I realized, damn, I'm gonna ruin a lot of lives.
When you say you spoke to him, you said you spoke to him about suicide.
Yeah, I told them the truth,
About all of them?
all of it. Yeah.
All four? All
Yeah,
four?
they know. They don't know about the time I ran and the time I stood on the cliff. I thought, that was kind of in my head, but I told them about my dog because it's just about my dog. And now this time, I really thought I took enough, but I think again because of my narcolepsy, or maybe my build, I
Okay.
maybe need more.
You need more to have died. So sort of like your narcolepsy in a way might have kept you alive but tired. Alive but tired, not a winner, but not a bad memoir title. So they know. Who knows that other than your partner who helped you with your tech setup that you're talking to a stranger about suicide?
Yeah, she knows. I've got a good friend. He's got epilepsy. He struggles with same kind of stuff. He doesn't know completely the details. He would come to me also when he's a little bit in a tough spot, and then we'll just sit a little bit and talk. He's much younger than me. He's maybe in his 30s. Other than I think the ambulance people know, and this doctor and nurse know. That's
about your suicide. Who knows that you're talking to me?
Oh, talking to you. My wife and my sons.
They know exactly what you're talking about. Suicide. You didn't dance around
Yes.
it.
I'm a very straightforward. I put both my feet a lot of times in my mouth.
Both of them.
Both of them at times.
So when you said you went to the hospital the last time, did you ever go to a mental health facility?
No, and I won't. Yeah, I did. After I was diagnosed, I asked if I could see a psychiatrist, and then when I got there, I asked him for a piece of paper and an envelope, and he looked at me and said, "Oh, okay," and he gave it to me, and I wrote something. I put it in the envelope and I said, "Keep it, because I'm going to ask you at some point to open it." And I saw him for maybe 5 times. Like the last time, he said to me, I think maybe we should prescribe you something. I said, "Open that envelope," and I wrote to him, "In the end, you're going to try and get me on drugs. You're not going to help me."
Well, two things. Hang on. So one, why did you bother even going in the first place?
Because narcolepsy is a neurological condition with a psychological.
Yeah, of course.
When we get cataplexy, for instance, now that is a dip in muscle tone. Starts in the face. You lose the tension, the ability to keep your head up.
Yeah.
At times I have fallen, but it happens because of mainly 3 things: fear, anger, and laughter. Now I get the anger and the laughter. Now why? Now I will tell you a joke. Now usually it's a little bit warm in the room, having something sweet, maybe some wine or something. Now I'm telling a joke now, and I know it's funny. Or you tell the joke. And at the point where I want to laugh, I lose tone in my muscle, and the laughter goes away. So I know that laughter is something because it just disappears.
And it causes you to collapse.
Then I collapse. But I know it's funny. I know it was as funny as hell.
But the actual laughter gets stopped.
Yes, that feeling that you.
That really sucks because that laughter is good. Laughter is medicine, as they say.
Can happen with orgasm as well.
All right, so orgasms, laughter.
Often, fortunately.
I'm glad you can still have an orgasm. So orgasms, laughter, fear.
At the point, Sean, it's at the point when you get there. Everything happens, man. Everything happens, but the feeling is gone.
So you're saying, and all right, this is R-rated, so if this is going to make you feel uncomfortable, and I don't know why it would, to my audience, hit pause. But you're saying at the moment of climax, you this feeling takes over, and you
the pleasure part is gone. I delivered the package, but the pleasure part is gone.
But your wife is pleased.
Yeah, she's pleased.
The reason I said there's 2 parts I asked the question. Why'd you see the doctor, the psychiatrist or psychologist?
I wanted to find out if do they work together, the neurologist and psychiatry? Can I get them kind of together so we can work on this? Nah.
But also, Martin's when something robs you of your life and affects your life so much, that can bring on depression. That can bring on all kinds of things.
Yes,
that would make total sense that you'd want to seek psychiatric care for that.
I have a self-diagnosis, which I've told him. I said to him, I've got symptomatic depression.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. It makes me depressed. When I'm
Uh,
not exhausted, I'm a happy guy.
so if you believe in God, aren't you a little angry at God that God gave you this thing?
No, no, it's energy. It's created. It's not a man or a woman. It's a force. It has created everything. It's done. By the eighth day, it was done. This is just how it is. We are fucking up.
I see.
Us, not that the force.
Do you think you're going to try to end your life again?
If I survive my family, if my boys is not there and my wife's not there, yeah, no.
Well, what if the medication that you're on is working? You just said you're a happy guy.
Yeah, no, as long as I can get it, you got me there. I'll keep on going. But if I don't have them around, I've got to still explain this to people, and I'm tired of doing it.
Do you ever talk to people about your struggles?
No, not much.
I mean, are they available and you choose not to talk to them, or is there just no one around who gets it?
No, there's nobody around who gets it. I can't blame the people. Narcolepsy is a really complicated thing.
Well, I mean, that's
Um,
the point, though. It's not just narcolepsy, it's you. It's your experience in the world.
yeah, but it's you lose people after a while. That's why I
Yeah.
said it's not a short story.
That's the name of the book. I know. 40,000 words. In far fewer words, you had sent me an email, and in the email, I want everyone to know Martin sent me 2 poems. Not really about me, but to me. I'm wondering if can I read them?
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
The first one is darkness really dark, or can I just not see? It's another sunny day walking through a different park. Is life not the cause of death? Each day's struggle, a postponement of the end, a fight for life, breath by breath. Is death a porthole, a small final step, but a giant leap to a happier goal? Or is it a crime, stepping away, moving on, an end to time? If I was only alone, not leaving pain behind, in hearts I have touched, on my soul like a heavy stone, now alive again. And then there was a second one, shorter one, about your father's death. Can I read that one?
Yes, you're more than welcome.
I have died when I was very young, but kept on living, it seems, for no one. At times a joy, at times a gain. Then I wake up and feel the pain. But life grew, watered when I cry, in a garden of no meaning, for soon again I will die. By Martiens B. We'll use B as the first. We don't need to give the full last name. People are going to come and try to find you in rural Norway, and who knows what they'll do. Nicely done, well written, beautiful.
Thank you.
I always ask this question about myths or misconceptions for you, of course. It could relate to anything. It's typically around suicide for you. Certainly, it could be around narcolepsy, the kind of thing that when or should you hear it makes your blood boil and you want to call bullshit on.
Yeah, well, the thing that people say, you're a coward, you're weak. What I want to say to them is try it. See how much guts it take.
Right.
But I won't, because it is a negative thing at the end of the day for those that's left behind. And then the people would say to you often, "But don't be so negative." Oh, that.
I'm not laughing at that. You're right. It's ridiculous.
And then I explain to people. I say, "Listen, do you understand how a magnet works? And the positive is external, and it feeds the negative. The negative feeds the positive, internal. It's one thing." It's just depends on where you are at that moment, but you will move. You will, don't be so negative. What the hell? Why are you so positive? Because you're now in the positive part. I'm in the negative part. But I'll be in the positive part soon. You'll be in the negative part. Just,
Yeah.
just, just move on. If you should talk to people, they are, this is kind of things that I experienced at the time when I started. There was some where people failed. I think quickly as a guy, he took his complete top jaw, his nose, and one eye out. And then, of course, he was then trialed for firing a firearm in a public area. And another guy, he had a bit of a history, and then his wife said, "I'm going." He was a little bit of abusive, and he had a big, I think it was a 44 Magnum, and he told, "I'm going to shoot myself," and she was packing her stuff. And as she walked towards the door, he took the gun and he had second thoughts, and then he shot himself, on the shoulder, not realizing he's got this bone at the back. So he had this huge hole. So the ambulance crew, basically, he was, I'm in pain, and the ambulance guy just pressed on the wound and he passed out. And then there was a man I felt really sorry for. He was in a wheelchair. He took a .22 rifle and he tried to shoot himself in the bathroom. And he shot through his chest and through the door. And of course, I was called out. The uniformed police was on their way there. We had to break down the door. And then he was now wounded but alive. And at some point, I had to attend court a lot. We after suicide, we had to attend the postmortems, and then I had to go and testify because the professor doctors couldn't be in the court all the time. And I saw him there in his wheelchair. He was now charged for firing a firearm. He was in his bathroom.
Well, so he tried to end his life with a gun, but that was illegal. The firing of a gun.
Firing a gun in what do you call it? A suburban area? Is that the right way?
But then there's a reason there are judges, and judges have discretion.
Yeah, but they're so busy,
So the guy that tried to kill himself, and what happened to him? Does he go to jail?
I'm not sure really what happened to him in the end, but yeah, he could have done some time.
I've talked to some people who are, whether they're police officers or EMS or, who deal with finding people who have tried to end their life, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. So it's part of life. It's part of this conversation, and it matters. So fiction. You're writing a nonfiction book called Not a Short Story. I've got a fictional pill that's pink and purple. What it does, if you take it, is you go to sleep. You don't wake up. There's never any pain. You can dream any dream you want. I know what kind of dreams you tend to want to dream, and sometimes you don't pick the ones I would pick. And no one knows it's a suicide. 58-year-old Martiens in Norway just died. What would you do with it if I gave it to you right now?
No, keep it.
You're gonna save it. Why save it?
Well, if I end up being alone, and this problem with not sleeping, because I still don't have something that there's nothing that helps with normal sleep. If I smoke something, it takes away that the anxiety of going to bed. Plus, when I wake up, I fall asleep easier. Taking this medication I have at the moment helps a lot at night, but I still wake up. Sleep deprivation can lead to things like dementia, some mental things. So if I get to that point, yeah, I'll rather go.
Right.
So I'll save it.
Save it. Save it somewhere safe.
When you look at people that commit suicide, I've put them in kind of three categories. Now, you have the Epstein. If he did, I don't know. Let's find it. But you have those who's committed a crime. Who's done something, and they know they're going to be done for it. And those kind of people. And then you have the Robin Williams. Now, I don't know if he was sick or anything, but it was nobody expected it. This guy was funny as hell. You have those ones.
But he did have a certain kind of disease.
So I'm looking, but I look at these three where I put myself. And the third one is Marvin Heemeyer. It's the guy who took the bulldozer and made it into a tank. No?
Right. There was a movie about that.
Yeah. Now I'm closer to that guy at the moment.
So
I want to take a bulldozer to these medical institutions.
Aha.
I've been asking, I've been shouting. You guys kind of like, oh, move to the Netherlands, or like, if I'm now really alone, these people that is important to my life is gone. I'm a Viking boat, build a boat, and then plan it so that you take something and fall asleep and you hold the flame, and this thing is loaded, and you just go.
I think you've put a lot of thought into the different ways you could go.
That's amazing. I shouldn't talk too much because with my blacksmithing and stuff I do, I've got gas and lots of stuff.
You've got stuff that can be dangerous and lethal?
Yeah, so that was just for entertainment.
Sure. A couple of questions though, in terms of just like things people do regularly that if they fall asleep while they're doing them are dangerous. The first one that comes to mind is driving.
Yeah, this is something which is I always try to explain. When I make a sculpture, which is something I create from nothing. Yeah. I find this almost adrenaline rush because I'm busy. I'm focusing now. There's something that drives me to focus.
Yeah, there's chemicals that are keeping you awake. Yeah.
Driving a car, I hate listening to a radio. Well, I've got a heavy truck driving license. So for me, I want to hear everything of this vehicle. I want to hear if there's something wrong, so I can stop, fix it. I'm interested in how the mechanics of it and how it works. So
Okay.
that kind of binds me. But there are times that I have to pull off. But I do have time. Listen, this sleep attack is not epilepsy. We know it's coming. We can pull off. We can go and lie down.
Oh, so when you start to feel it, how much time goes by before when you go to sleep?
It depends. It depends on how many bad nights I had. We would call it how many nights of REM sleep you had.
You have been extremely articulate and alert throughout this conversation, which means I'm taking full credit for that. Because if I were really boring, you probably would have been like,
Yes,
cutting
yes.
out, right? Okay.
You should make some Sean pulls.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't asked me if I would share this with other people.
Oh, that's right. That's actually one of the questions that I consistently forget to ask, and I don't know why.
Okay.
It's a two-part question. One, are you going to listen to it? And then, yes, are you going to share it so other people hear it?
Yeah, I'll listen to it, but I've told my boys, of course, and
Yeah.
if they want to listen to it,
Yeah.
I'll send them the link. My wife can listen to it. As much as I would like to help you to get this your podcast out and get people aware, if I know about someone that feels this way, I would tell them. I would say, listen, go and listen to this guy.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do.
But the way I found it, and I think a lot of the people that you've spoken to, we typed in suicide. So, and your podcast is really, I think, important for those people that's going to type in that word.
I would like to believe so too.
I mean, they start listening to some of the people. I hope that people will go like,
I
maybe
mean,
I can find a way around it.
yeah. It's not for everybody, but for those that it is for, I think, or and have been told, it's helpful.
We don't talk about it enough.
No.
It's just that taboo thing, me coming from a conservative background, South Africa, Afrikaans, the suicides I investigated, I was kind of the guy. At times I felt like people would try not to walk too close kind of thing, because I spent some time in the morgue. I had for years nightmares about the morgue. It's like a shun thing. It's like, ooh, bad. Yeah, it's terrible. It helps nobody. I had a cousin, I think my oldest cousin, he knew my father very well. And he always said to me, I want to talk to you and tell you all about your father. And his wife, they met, I think, the day they started talking. They were together their whole life. Her father had mentioned a lot of things, and he died really hard. And they had to look after him. It took years. And then she was diagnosed. And she was really small. He's tall. She was really small. Lovely person. And then the children all went out. I think the two children were still at school, or maybe one at university. The husband went to work. And when they went out, in South Africa, you've got security gates, because of the car. She hung herself on the security gate. And I'm thinking, she was alone. She couldn't tell anybody because they would have tried to stop it. And she didn't want them to deal with her the way they had to deal with her father. But I've always tried to think, she was so small, such a lovely person, and she had to go put a belt on and they hang her from a security gate. And then a year later, my cousin hung himself as well.
But we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about, the whole family is like, woo. And it's you, because we've got these two worlds. You've got your internal world and the external world. Who you are in here, nobody can know. They only know who you are when you express yourself and when you act. That's their observation of you.
Right.
It's kind of it's also kind of difficult to actually get someone to understand what's going on.
Yeah, really hard for sure. What other questions do I need to ask you? Should I ask you? Did I ask you every question?
Well, you didn't ask me if I regret anything, and
oh man, you're a tough interviewee because we were looking at every single question, and you're keeping me on point.
But I'm a bit of
But no, hang on. I got to push back a little bit. I asked you, but it was a little bit more specific about what the narcolepsy stole and what and the time and the relationships. Not exactly the same. So yeah, do you regret anything, including the unsuccessful suicide attempts?
Yeah, I regret that I didn't do it alone. That my wife was here, and she's got to deal with this. And you ask if I've got somebody to talk to. Does she have someone to talk to? She picked me up at hospital, and it was like a 2.5-hour drive back. I slept a lot of it because I slept the Saturday or the Sunday a lot. Now we're back at like normal. She hasn't really told me exactly. She told me I collapsed on the floor, and she had to try, and she slapped me through my face to try and keep me awake.
She probably slapped
And
you in your face for other reasons too, but
yeah,
okay.
I think maybe there was a couple of slaps for that reason. I don't blame her. She would punched me.
Yeah.
And then, she had to call the ambulance and had to deal with them coming into the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
We live in a very small town,
Right.
I told the please don't tell me who was the ambulance people because I just don't want to see them if I have to go to town.
Because they'll recognize you. You're a recognizable guy.
Yeah, they all kind of know me because I'm a loud South African. No, Sean, you're doing a good thing, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I tell my guests, look, if people don't find this and reach out and show up and talk, then I don't have a podcast to do. So it goes both ways.
Thank you for the platform. Just an open conversation, a little joking, laughing,
Yeah.
and serious stuff. It was great.
I'm glad that you were able to do it. I appreciate it a lot. I get a lot out of it too. It's sort of medicine for me.
Yeah, but how did you start? I mean, I know some of the history. You had a friend, but then you started the podcast. But how did you find the first person?
I think the first strategy I had was I found suicide attempt survivor groups. I messaged the person who runs the group and I say, I've got this idea. So I found a couple people and then I had like friends or friends of friends. So once I had a couple episodes, then it got a little bit more easy than when with permission in a place like Facebook. And once they gave me permission, I would post it and say, and if you want to hear it so that you can like know that I'm not some just weird dude who's trying to be an asshole. You can decide for yourself and reach out. And so it kind of grew from that. And at some point, I didn't have to do any of that. It was big enough that people would just keep emailing me, and not everybody who emails me ends up talking. Some of them, it's scary.
Yeah, there is that element of shame, and there's that element. I feel it with my wife, and I told her, I said to her, I feel like I have to every day. First thing I have to say to you is I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because there was a time I said to her, I won't do it, I won't, and I'm a liar. I've done it, so I just feel like I have to apologize every time. And
Yeah.
she says, no, you don't have to, but I just feel, you know,
I'm sure your wife, lovely woman who helped you help the tech setup, I saw her for a moment. It is somewhat of a burden. It is hard living with you, probably.
It's not easy. She works at times. She worked 4 jobs.
Wow.
I do what I can. I make wood in the forest on the friend's farm. I try and do my sculptures. Try and do this. And winter times I'll take snow off the roofs. So it doesn't get too heavy. I try and do what I can, but she's the one that earns the money. I've got nothing to my name. Shit.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible. And it's part of it, and it gets caught up in that net of narcolepsy. Like I kind of that's your excuse. I've been determined as 100% disabled, although I'm able. But that's the system and how this system works. But I cannot go. I cannot expect you to employ me and then have to make room for me to sleep 5 times during the day.
Yeah. You fall in between the cracks. You really do.
Yeah. The fact that I've now wanted to kill myself and then now get the medicine finally that they don't want to give to me, which I've asked for, I'm still going to try and make an income and make as much as I can. The wrong place. Norway is an art desert. Terrible. When I was in the UK, I sold so much stuff in the UK, but yeah, it's dead, and that's also part of it. I make jewelry now. Make recycled jewelry. I can sell that. I'm a little bit of access, but everything costs money. To be a blacksmith, you've got to have the coal. So I'm trying to build this up. Now I feel shit. It's absolute shit that my wife has to work her arse off. Now I feel shit.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense, man. Yeah. So you are 8 hours ahead of me. Because this is getting to be evening time. Is this where it gets to be the most uncomfortable for you?
No, you're a good pull.
What does that mean?
You've been keeping me awake.
Well, I'm not standing up all fucking night with you. I got a life to live. But you're getting towards the time where most people go to bed.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you've spent a good time, and I really appreciate it. I like the structure you've got. People can take those questions, go and think about it, bring things together, and it's amazing. And yeah.
Is there a question that I don't ask that you'd want me to add to that list that you think is important?
Yes, I actually was thinking about one.
Tell me.
No, I just can't remember. No, actually, because I wrote it down. I copied all your questions and made notes.
Well, you could always message me and let me know. I can add it to the list if I like it.
But wasn't it one of your... Oh, yeah. Any words to your younger self?
Yeah, I don't ask that question that much, but do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. Don't take any vaccines. No, my narcolepsy came from most likely 1975, the first swine flu. And Norway and the UK, 2009, they gave the people pandemics and thousands got narcolepsy. They've got the best study on narcolepsy in the world in Norway. That is also one of my frustrations because I'm not part of the 2009 group.
Maybe you had mentioned you had a motorcycle accident or a bike accident, but maybe
That caused I had sepsis, and that caused the autoimmune response. Because narcolepsy is autoimmune disorder. It's my immune system that attacks my body.
Right. But you're saying there might be a connection to the vaccine as well. And who knows what
Yeah.
the long-term effects of the COVID vaccines are? Who knows?
Yeah, I did it's 2019. Is that the right date? That's when it started, yeah?
2020. But yeah, I mean, technically probably 2019.
The 29th of December, 2019, I sent a Freedom of Information Act request in through our mayor to the health department to ask for proof. They couldn't answer me. And I sent it off, same exact question, same email to another person in Canada. She asked, I couldn't answer her.
You're just flying blind and everyone's telling you got to do it and it's free and you just go do it.
Black Africans now, they said, sorry, white man's disease.
They don't trust that shit. No way. Goodbye. Not a chance. I bet by and large, and I have no data on this, that African Americans probably as a percentage were far less likely to get the vaccine because of the historical.
They kind of, this whole African American thing, but anyway, they can do it. I was born in Africa. I'm more African than most of them. You know, our body, our cells in our body renew. Like it's kind of a 7-year cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've lived somewhere, then you kind of part of that. Like I'm now Norwegian because I've eaten from the land. Yeah. But the Africans in Africa, they don't trust this shit.
Nah.
They go to the Sangoma, which is the doctor in Zulu.
They don't trust it, and I can't blame them.
I don't blame them either. Because I grew up speaking Sotho, which is a language, a big part in the northern part of South Africa. And then later, when I was in forestry, I learned to speak Zulu.
Wow.
And they're very rural, still very rural people. And now they are struggling now with heart disease, these problems. Since the new South Africa, you see so many diseases now among them, which I never had before.
Right. Not a coincidence.
No, sadly not.
It is all energy still.
Yeah.
Some of the energy is alive in our limited vocabulary, and some of it is alive in a different way where it's dead, but it's not. But we are still here.
We are. Okay, Sean, thank you very much.
You are very welcome, Martiens. I've enjoyed the talk. And it's a weird thing to say, but more than anybody I have ever spoken to, I really hope you get a good night's rest.
Yes, thank you very much.
Take care, my friend.
I've got 6 months to go, and then I'm going to make sure I have a good night's rest.
I'm hoping for you, man. I'm hoping for you.
Thank you. Okay, Sean. Bye-bye.
Ciao. As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. Special thanks to Martiens in Norway. Thank you, Martiens. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. And if you are an incredibly wealthy human being who wants to help somebody grow their podcast so that they can help more people in more places feel a little less shitty and a little less alone, give me a call or shoot me a message. I'd love to talk. That's all for this week's episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.